Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shabbat. Shalom. Bim 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 bam. Bim 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 bam. Dai do dai do dai dai bim. Bam. Bim 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 bam. Bim 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 bam. Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to our first intimate service from our homes. And so welcome to Temple Shir Shalom's Shabbat service. A little bit different than what we've done in the past weeks. Hopefully you've clicked onto our YouTube channel and you've been able to get to it from there. We've dropped it into our Facebook Live so you can see it in there as well and enjoy it in that way too. Maybe on the chat and YouTube, wish a good Shabbos to one another as you see other people who are a part of this. Introduce yourself. Help us as we go along. This is new for us doing it from our homes. We decided after the past few weeks in this time of physical distancing and only Cantor and me and Rabbi being on the bima and being 8-10 feet away from each other, feeling that we're being very safe, that maybe we weren't saying the best message in this time when none of us should be leaving our homes. You know, we really should only leave our home if we need to get something, a lot of things at the grocery store, but not regularly, that we should do everything we can to stay home. And so we wanted to send that message loud and clearly as well. And so Rabbi Schwartz and Cantor Penny and me are together with you now in creating Shabbat. And so let us begin by lighting our Shabbos candles, lighting them together as Cantor will lead us in the blessing for the candles and bringing light into our world, reminding ourselves of that light that each of us has and the beauty of Shabbat as we welcome it at this time.
העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של
And so, with our candles illuminated, so we give thanks for the sweetness of our time together and the joy of Shabbat as we begin with the blessing for the wine with the Kiddush with Cantor.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim.
We say that we come to Shabbat together. We return to our time together. With this melody, with this nigun, we're reminded of the tradition the rabbis taught that each of us has a soul, of course, but on Shabbat, an extra soul is placed within us. An extra neshama, in a sense, to help us feel that much more keenly, to understand that much more intently, to appreciate those blessings that much more clearly. And so we return, we say, to Shabbat, we return to this place as we say the land of our soul, but really not physically a spiritual land that we're in together. So I ask you, as we experience Shabbat together in this moment, to take a deep breath. Breathe in through your nose and out slowly through your mouth. Breathing in God's gift to each and every one of us, and breathing out our blessings that we give back to this world. For that is what Shabbat is. Especially this day in the midst of Passover, the Shabbat, where we appreciate even more the blessings of our freedom, that we can worship in unique ways as Jews, that we can worship together as a community, that we can be open in our faith, that we can be together as families, although physically distant, spiritually connected. And it's how we return again, how we create this time, how we sing these nigunim, these blessings that mean so much to us each and every week.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you were born and reborn and reborn. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul.
And so now that we've come back together spiritually and created our community together, so can we turn in our prayer books to page 20. And of course, the prayer book is available digitally on our YouTube page or on our website. And you can download that and scroll through it with us as we join in our services. So with the Baruch Hu, we turn to page 20.
ימלכו את אדוני roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day becomes night, roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day becomes night, Orei yom v'layla, v'leilol mipnei choshech, Orei yom v'choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day and day becomes night. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day becomes night.
And on page 21, you created the day and night, even though you caused the day to disappear, and you bring on the night. You have developed a separation and distinction one from the other. We call you ruler of the universe, but you are our living God. May you create understanding among us so we might never take nature for granted. Praised are you, our creator, who causes night to fall.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Le'olam And thou shalt love Adonai your God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all of thy might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be upon thy heart, shall be upon thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt speak of them when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, and when thou risest up, thou shalt find them for a sign upon thy hand, They shall be our front looks between thine eyes, and thou shalt write them on the doorposts of my house and upon thy gates, upon thy gates. We may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
And on page 23, these eternal words have been a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. Faith and choice bring understanding to the soul and sensitivity to the heart. In all times and places, our God has been a part of our lives. Our faith has been our rock and our help. We witnessed God's wonders when we went free from Egypt. When slavery's chains were broken, we witnessed it. May those who have the faith to believe also have the wisdom to be kind. O God, in whom we have all hope, we glorify your name now as our people have praised you throughout history.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהיו עושה פלא, נורא תהיו עושה פלא, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מלכות יפתח מאוד הנצח, חוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי ענו ויאמרו, זה אלי ענו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהיו עושה פלא, נורא תהיו עושה פלא, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
As we prepare for the central prayers of worship, the Amidah, someone had asked in the midst of our worship, do we have to stand, or is it okay to sit as we're at a kitchen table or on a couch? And our feeling is whatever is comfortable for you at this time, you can do. So even though the prayer Amidah means standing, the words of it are about the connections we have to God in so many different ways, whether it's from our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, or it's the idea of the strength that we find in our world and ourselves that might come from God, or the idea of our connections to one another. So we take a moment of silent meditation, either following the prayers that are within our prayer book or those that might come from our hearts.
Thought is blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind, joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering the sun in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day. Eternity utters a day. Thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind, joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering the sun in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. Adonai, Svatai Tivtach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, Svatai Tivtach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah v'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Lifnei B'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo V'Yahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor leolam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav lehoshia. Mechalkei al chayim v'chesed, Mechayei hakol v'rachamim rabim. Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umkayem emunato, Lishenei afar. Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umiro meloch, Melech memit umchayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kdoshim b'chol yom yehalelu chasena. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
You are holy, and your name is holy, and we sing your praises every day. Praised are you, the holy God. Please be seated.
Hashkiveni Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, והמיתנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והמיתנו מלכנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והמיתנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והמיתנו מלכנו לחיים. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם, מעתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והמיתנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והמיתנו מלכנו לחיים.
Let us lie down in peace, O God, and permit us to wake up in the security of knowing that we are safe and loved. Be a shield around us and keep enemies, disease, violence, homelessness, and hunger far away from those we love. Keep us safe in the shadow of your wings, for you are our protector. You show compassion and mercy when you permit us the experience of seeing the shelter of your peace. Give to your people, Israel, and the world a time of peace.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וילפת. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את
As Israel has preserved the Sabbath, so the Sabbath has preserved Israel. It is an everlasting covenant between God and the children of Israel. It is a reminder of creation, For in 6 days God created the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day God sanctified all life with rest.
Shalom al Israel tasim leonam. Shalom al Israel tasim leonam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol shalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol shalom. Shalom al Israel amcha tasim leolam. Shalom al Israel amcha tasim leolam. Letov heinecha livarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom al Israel amcha tasim leolam. Shalom al Israel amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country that it may always be a stronghold of peace and its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within its homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship among the inhabitants of all lands, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Blessed is the eternal God, the source of peace. This day is Shabbat, the last day of our week, our chance to stop, to pause, to recognize the beauty in our lives. As you sit at home, make yourself comfortable. Find a position in which you can relax. Close your eyes. Focus on your breathing. Breathe in, slowly inhaling through your nose, and breathe out, exhaling through your mouth. As you breathe in, sit up straight. Lengthen your spine. And as you breathe out, let your body relax. This day is Shabbat. And tonight, we begin our third day of Pesach, the third day of our festival of freedom, when we recall our experiences in Egypt. we celebrate the miracles, our redemption as a people. Picture what it may have been like in Egypt. Imagine yourself as an Israelite leaving slavery, making our way from Egypt to the Promised Land. Picture yourself at the shores of the Red Sea, waiting for the miracle to occur. The Egyptians behind you. All of a sudden, the sea parts. You make your way through. What does it look like as you make your way through the waters, which have parted on both sides of you? How does it feel to know that the escape route is open for you? That maybe you'll be safe, that you can see a glimmer of light on the other side, your chance for freedom. Picture, what does that freedom look like? As you leave Egypt, what are you most excited about experiencing, about feeling? What is it that you longed for? Your hopes. What are those dreams that you have? Now move back to today. Think about those same questions for yourself. What does freedom in our world look like to you? What are your hopes? Your dreams? What are you most looking forward to experiencing? How would you feel if that dream, that vision in your mind, if it became a reality? Shabbat, our time to reflect, to be present in the moment, to think about what our world can be like. Passover, our chance to experience and remember what slavery and freedom can be like, and how we can work towards that redemption of all. And when we give ourselves moments like this to look within, to have a vision of what our world can be like, then we make this world and this day a little more kadosh. We make it a little more holy. Zehayom asa Adonai, nagilah v'nismechavo. This is the day that God has created. Let us be glad in it, and let us rejoice in it.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Beyond our own private visions and our own private prayers, do we as a community now turn to think of friends and family who are in need of healing? Normally, we would take the Torah out at this point and walk around with it, with our hopes that the Torah would help give us strength, give that strength to our loved ones as well. As we find ourselves at home, we have that same vision in mind. Our hopes for healing, mentally, physically, and spiritually, for all those who are part of our community and around the world. So we take a moment now as we turn to page 38 in our prayer books to recite the words of Mi Sheberach, asking God to help us and our loved ones work towards a refuah shlema, complete healing of mind, of body, and of spirit.
May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing and let us say Amen.
Merciful God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, send your blessings to our loved ones who are stricken with illness or anxiety. To Alyssa Ayudo, Carol Binder, Eugene Blakeman, Joel Bussell, Pat Carey, Karen Kasman, Bill Cooperstock, Lisa Dorff, Miriam Farber, Gary Fishman, Paul Fulton, Adele Gaba Band, Joe Gilbert, Howard Goldberg, Paul Goldberg, Charles Gross, Andrew Halo, Crystal Halo, Hank Heiser, Batya Batbeshia Panina, Jerry Hoffman, Vera Hopkins Gordon, Rebecca Horn, Sarah Jacobson, Michael Kahn, Rick Kornspan, Yvonne Krasny, Henry Leopold, Nancy Levine, Nina Livieva, Danny Malamud, Judy Malamud, Zoe Marcus, Beth Margolin, Joyce Meza, Ellie Meisler, Scott Miles, Ian Nordan, Lori Nosenchuk, Rabbi Robert Nosenchuk, Eric Perez, Leslie Pillings, Sarah Pomerantz, Miriam Leah Batdanel Esther, Jean Richmond, Alan Rosen, Marcy Rosenbaum, the St. Amand family, Erna Schoen, Amy Selmanoff, Sonia Sklar, Fran Sunny, Evelyn Soroka, Toby Stein, Stephen Stillwater, Chaim Shmuel Ben Noach, Kochav Ben Noach, Sherry Weiner, Loretta Ziegelman, all those battling coronavirus both at home, in the hospital, the 20,095 American troops who have been injured in Iraq and Afghanistan to date, and all the names in our hearts. May God grant them a refuah shlema, a healing of mind, of body, and of spirit.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We continue at this time with a special prayer for those who are out, making sure that all those affected with coronavirus are taken care of. A prayer for our healers. Mishberach Avotenu, Ve'imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors. Bless all those who put themselves at risk to care for the sick. Physicians and nurses and orderlies, technicians and home health aides, emergency personnel and pharmacists, hospital social workers, respiratory therapists, and mental health professionals. And bless those who continue to go above and beyond, those working daily in our grocery stores, those who drive medical supplies to our homes, those delivering necessities to families, cooking meals for so many, everyone who puts the needs of others above their own, navigating the unfolding dangers of the world each day, tending to those who they've sworn to help. Bless them in their coming home and bless them in their going out. Ease their fear, sustain them. Source of all breath, healer of all beings, protect them and restore their hope. Strengthen them that they may find and bring strength. Help them in health that they may bring health. Help them know again a time when they can breathe without fear. Bless the sacred work of their hands, and may this plague pass from among us speedily and in our days. And we continue with our prayers of adoration, with our concluding prayers as we rise together on page 41 of our prayer books.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יראה אדוני אחד, ושמו
The mystics teach us that the Kaddish has different meanings every time it is recited. In their minds, it is a prayer that links earth to heaven and bridges the chasm between the living and the dead. The Kaddish is the assurance that the soul is enduring and the human spirit is indestructible. It is a prayer that permits a child to remember a parent and a parent to remember a child. It is an opportunity to bind wounds and bring generation closer to generation. In light and in darkness, it is all of these and more, for it is our people's memory of the best that life has to offer. And so on this Shabbat, we think of those friends and family who have been taken from us in these most recent days, whose Shiva and Shloshim we mark. George Zeff, Tony Sanders, Isaac Robinson, Carol Metzger, Helen Harris, Jeannie Feinstein Potash, Rosa Ernstein, Elise Rollins, Jack Bacalar, Robert Fenton, Leslie Leiter, Pam Vicky Gottlieb, Irvin Kessler, Hillary Tarr, Irene Kleinbard, Bruce Early. We had those whose Shana we mark: Laura Roth, Stephen Averbuck, Susie Averbuck, and the 2,420 Americans in our armed forces lost in Afghanistan and the surrounding areas to date. And to their names, we add those whose yahrzeits we mark, those of whose anniversary of passing we lovingly commemorate: Louis Adler, Ethel Auslander, Tody Barnett, Becky Barr, Phyllis Barr, Louis Bercius, Nina Block, Claire Braunfeld, Harry Brown, Morris Chadwick, David Morris Citron, Jody Rich Colombo, Ethel Draz, Ethel Droz, Sarah Eisenberg, Beverly Emmons, Ellen Fashion, Minnie Feinberg, Eric Fishkind, Fred Gayer, Zoltan Glantz, Rose Gold, Joseph Gillespie, Belle Greenfield, Natalie Hadesman, Evelyn Miriam Home, Evelyn Miriam Horn, Herbert Kaufman, Ruth Shirley Coltono, Samuel Kopel, Raymond Kudish, John Leopold, Bertha Levine, Kenneth Lewis, Milford Lewis, Larry Lopayton, Larry Lopatin, Morris Lynn, Michelle McGilton, Sadie Miller, Robert Moskowitz, Shirley Pollack, Andrew Roney, Edward Rosenberg, Connie Rothman, David Rubenstein, Yaakov Schwartz, Henry Seligman, Samuel Silverstein, Larry Sklar, Milton Sirach, Betty Stein, Samantha Noel Taub, Larry Wayne, Harriet Wallach, Eleanor Yanitz, Florence Jovis. In their memories, in the memories of those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, do we join together as one family, as one community, in the immortal words of the Mourner's Kaddish as found on page 46 of our prayer books. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, be'amad yivarach cherutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayachon uvyomachon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach le'olam omei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kedusha b'richu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, Uyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all the bereaved here and everywhere. As together we say, amen.
Oseh shalom b'mramav, Uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. 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 Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. So as Rabbi Moskowitz is stuck on mute, we'll take a moment just to share a few things. First of all, for those that are watching on YouTube, which is I think the only way that people can watch tonight, in a moment we'll begin our Tish, and right after Rabbi Moskowitz makes some announcements. So if you have questions for Tish, because there's a little bit of a delay from what we're doing for a couple seconds until the comments show up on the YouTube feed, please feel free to post your Tish questions on the feed. But as you get ready for that, we take a moment for a few quick Hoda'ot and some announcements.
First of all, thanks to all of you for trying this service with us and being a part of our first time Zooming our services and watching it as we've put up onto YouTube. And we appreciate your patience and us figuring out what's best. Like we said, we decided that better message for us to be able to do this from our homes, as we've asked all of you not to leave your homes, and we want to set that example as well. And so it's a nice opportunity for us to role model in that way and to be with you and to create this time for us together. So that's number one. Number two, we always appreciate your feedback. And we want to always do better and figure out different ways that help us engage with all of you. So keep telling us what you like about these services, what's worked, what hasn't worked, so that we can each week modify it and figure that out too. Thanks to all those who were part of our Seder last night. I think we were like 230 people at one point enjoying our Seder that we Zoomed in together. Spectacular. And obviously this reality that we're experiencing is giving us the opportunity to try different things, new things, things that engage a little more as well. And we appreciate that. We long, though, because part of us personally, who we are, to connect physically together, to be able to hug each other and to appreciate our physical connections as well. And that's an important thing. So other ways to engage this way, of course, every week, 6:30 services at night on Friday, 10:30 services in the morning on Saturday. This week being Pesach, we end Passover with Yisker, our memorial services. We'll do in the same format, 10:30 a.m. on Wednesday. And that prayer book will be available online, the Yisker prayer book. Every Saturday morning, one of the best known secrets, or least known secrets, that's not a proper thing, best known secret. Well, it's not really a secret because we want you all to know about it, is our Shabbat morning Torah study hour. Tish, Rabbi, and me, and occasionally Rabbi Daniel Schwartz jumps in, especially that we're doing this remotely, for a Torah study class at 9:30 every Shabbat morning. We usually gather a little after 9 for bagels and a nosh. We do our teaching from 9:30 to 10:30 before we begin Shabbat morning services. We don't publicize the Zoom link for that. If you would like to be a part of it and you haven't jumped in yet, email me or Rabbi Daniel and we'll send you that link so that you can join in tomorrow or next week or any week for that as well. So an important thing for us. So those are the Hodaot, the announcements for this week right now. This week of spring break that we're on for our religious school, Shoresh, and for our preschool. But there's a couple questions that have come up already, and I'll turn to Rabbi because he's probably been reading them as they popped up. No, I won't turn to you.
Yes. So a few questions, but I was not reading them yet. It looks like they've popped up. So the first one is from Mitch Klein. At some point, we will return to normal. What will change for Temple? Will it go back to the same, or will you continue to some sort of online service? What else will change? That is a great question, and I wish I could see into the future. I can tell you a few things that we know that people have really enjoyed connecting with Shabbat services. The last night, actually, with our Passover Seder as well, we had over 200 people that were online and part of our second night Seder. Some who are as far east as Virginia and as far west as Arizona that we know of, and as far south as Florida, up to here in Michigan. So we know that we're able, and they're all Temple members. And so we know that we love connecting with Temple members wherever you might be, enjoying moments of Shabbat and Passover. So I imagine that we don't want this to be the new normal where we're online virtually doing this every week. But our hope is to continue maybe to, as we've done previously, to live stream our services so that people can enjoy them from wherever they may be, whether it's the comfort of their own couch here in Michigan or somewhere around the United States, or even internationally, as we've have some viewers that are watching from other countries as well. So Rabbi, speaking of other countries, I'll throw the next question to you as I read it. Debbie Eber wants to know what's going on in Israel with the recent elections.
What's going on in Israel with the recent elections? You know, because of the coronavirus right now, things are suspended. And I haven't heard anything about the elections in the past few days. The last thing is that there was the attempt of a unity government, and the Blue and White Party sort of fell apart as Benny Gantz decided to create a unity government with Netanyahu, and with the initial thing that Netanyahu wouldn't be prosecuted, and he remained prime minister for the next 16 months, I think it was. And then Benny Gantz become prime minister, and they figure out who would get what ministerial positions between the two parties. So that's where it was, the Blue and White Party. Some of the people who had joined that coalition had left the coalition because they were so angry and felt like he had sold out and he became a pawn of Netanyahu now. Some believe that it was something he did for the security and the safety of the country because of the coronavirus and the necessity to get the government operating as good as possible in the midst of these trying times. And so that it was something that compromise was important. The last I heard 4 days ago was that the coalition actually was having some challenges now and might be falling apart. So that was I haven't heard anything since then. Israel, since before Passover, day before Passover started, went on a severer lockdown than it was before, and a severer lockdown than we've experienced here. They actually have had neighborhood lockdowns, not just for like B'nai Brak, the ultra religious. Yes, that is true, but also that, like in Jerusalem, they broke it into a number of different quadrants or areas. You could not move between different areas. You had to stay within your very tight neighborhood. They were really limiting people not in their movement and didn't want people wandering about as well. So really important. They actually put a law out that said you couldn't be, I think, more than 100 meters from your house unless you were going to the closest grocery store, and only one person could be at the store from your home at a time. So if you were ticketed if you were outside of that area. So that's the reality there. They've been much more it's a leaf, okay, on my dog's face right now. Sorry. There's a sorry, my one child right now who's needed the most attention today, who felt she was being left out. So that is the story of the election as of now.
So I'll add a little bit to it. As Rabbi said, the challenge with the blue and white party is that it was falling apart. As Gantz said that he was going to partner with Netanyahu. In the last day or so, what's come out is that Gantz played right into Netanyahu's hand in a sense, breaking up his power of blue and white because not everybody wanted to work and be part of a coalition with Netanyahu. And because of that, Gantz's power went down. And now Netanyahu has enough that he probably is going to get and start partnering with the ultra-Orthodox again and some of his previous parties, that he'll have a majority in the Knesset again without partnering with Gantz or some of the other parties that were part of blue and white. So at the moment, that's what looks like is going to happen. But who knows? This is the third election and we'll see what happens.
Yes, Gary, Shabbat Shalom. I appreciate that. Yes, my dog did want a little more love and appreciation of that attention. So listen, join with us for Shabbat morning Tish, Shabbat morning services. We'll do this again next Friday. Give us your feedback. Let us know how we can make this even better. Thank you, Audrey, behind the scenes, making services run smoothly today. Brian Fishman, our executive director, helping us work out some of those kinks too. And to Cantor Rabbi for always making services special for us three, for all of you. Let us conclude with a final blessing together.
Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless us. May God protect us.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God shine upon you and may God shine through you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha.
May God always be a part of who we are, giving us all of our blessings to pause, to appreciate, to experience, and even more that we dream and hope and wish for in the future, of health, and most of all, of shalom, of peace.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos, everybody.